What's going on, guys? It's your boy Joe from GameStarter. Earlier today, we had a Q&A on Discord featuring some of the top Dark Frontiers questions from that we picked from Twitter. We wanted to run through some of those questions tonight and record them for you. So for anyone who might have missed that or wanted to rewatch and get those answers again, we're going to put this video together for you guys so you can get some more answers and get a little behind the scenes of Dark Frontiers. I know everyone's excited. I know I'm excited. I'm pumped. There's still a lot of stuff that we're kind of waiting for, more details and releases and all this kind of stuff. So you guys had a lot of questions, a lot of really good questions. So thank you for anyone who asked. I'm going to run you through some of our top questions here, give you some answers. So let's just hop right into it, guys. First of all, we have Bizoti, Twitter handle. First of all, I would like to congratulate the team for the excellent work regarding spaceships and rovers. Will we have any functionality for them in closed alpha? Could you tell us more details about these items? Great question. Thank you very much. First of all, the team has decided to not put a lot of emphasis on local transportation devices, right, or vehicles, kind of at least earlier on in the gameplay and for the closed alpha. So one thing you'll be able to do, obviously, is RPG. You'll be able to increase your skill points, right? You'll have a skill tree. You'll be able to put points into your tree to develop certain skills and techniques, etc. One of those things, or two of those things, rather, you'll be able to improve are your athletics and acrobats, and that's actually going to basically determine how fast you can actually travel by foot around these areas, around these different locations that you're going to be visiting. So initially, there's not going to be a lot of vehicular transport, at least local. Perhaps it's something that we'll implement later in the game, but for now, it's going to be a lot of foot travel. So it's a short answer there. Again, later in the game, you might see more vehicles, tools for transportation, and that kind of thing. But then that closed alpha will have the spaceships available for interplanetary transport. Those will be kind of included with the game, especially for that initial release, just to kind of get everyone acquainted and get that feel for traveling to different places, planet to planet. Again, you'll be able to unlock kind of more transportation services, but also because getting to other planets though is going to get you more NFT items, going to get you more bosses, more enemies, that kind of thing. So we want to make sure everyone has that access to see, interact with different parts, I guess, of the universe, right, of the actual game, especially in that initial release. One thing that's going to be unique too is that you're going to be able to actually use your own spaceships as a spaceship as a service, which I think is kind of cool. Something unique that we have with blockchain gaming that only is in blockchain gaming, where you can kind of come up with these really unique services you're able to provide in game. So yeah, looking forward to that. So great question. Thank you very much for that one. Next, we have Ziga Muhik. Will you be able to recharge suits only in base or also in spaceships? So basically, how this is going to work is going to be there's going to be the main lunar. So for the moon, for example, right? It's going to be the main space station, right? They're the main base that you're going to kind of have your hub, right? And that's going to have the force field. It's going to have the oxygen supplies, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be your main place to recharge your space suits. However, there are going to be satellite locations, kind of little recharge stations, think like little gas stations here and there throughout the planet that you're going to be able to stop by, recharge your suit, pick up some supplies, that kind of thing. So it's going to be a little bit of mix as far as those go. As far as the specific spaceship question though, short answer, some of them, yes. So some of the spacesuits or spaceships and vehicles will be able to recharge the spacesuits there. So not all, it depends on the vehicles and that kind of thing, but there will be some that will be equipped to recharge your spacesuit. So great question. Love you, the in-depth thinking going on here. At Top NFT Sharingan, shout out to the Naruto there, right? What measures are being taken to protect the Dark Frontiers game economy and prevent exploitation? Also a great question here. So we have two articles to refer you to here, right? So we have the Dark Frontiers in-depth economy overview article on our Medium, Dark Frontiers Medium, and then we have the anti-cheat article. Basically, a whole article based on that on our Medium as well. So definitely go check out those two articles, and you'll get a more kind of in-depth answer from a high-level perspective. First of all, the in-game economy, I find, is very robust, if you will, right? So we believe that it is set up in such a way that is not easily exploitable. Obviously, there's always going to be ways to kind of get around that. But the thing is that the game itself is built from scratch, is built from the ground up, not kind of just some copy and paste mechanics that are just kind of thrown in and then customized to fit. It's like, no, this is built from scratch. So it's harder for bots or for kind of cheating mechanisms to infiltrate a game that is built more from scratch and more organically. So that's something we do have going for us. We do have, we're going to have an available, basically community feedback that you're going to be able to, players are going to be able to provide. Like, hey, some fish is going on with these players. We're also going to be monitoring the stats and the data, the metadata that's going on with the game, right? So if people are getting extraordinarily rich doing certain actions or with certain items, whatever it is, we're going to be able to pick up on that thing, and we're going to be able to shut it down and investigate more deeply. So there's going to be various levels of that of those kind of safe mechanisms kind of built into the game, but then also things that we're going to be monitoring, keeping an eye on to really make sure that the game is played fairly and that it's not exploited, right? So, but yeah, for more in-depth answers, go check out our Medium for those two articles for sure. Another great question though. Bali Kiefer, what is the plan to boost the dark token? Because like it or not, dark people will play to win the token. It's very and it is its value. Excuse me, is very important. What is the plan for the token to reach other exchanges, and what is the plan on the sale of the token of whoever forms in the game? So, few questions here, few things to kind of dive into, right? First of all, with regards to the balancing of the economy, the tokenomics, that kind of thing. Again, we've got some really great articles that I invite you to go check out and read more in depth on our Medium. We have the Dark Frontiers in-depth economy overview, and we have the what is the DFCC, because DFCC is going to be part of that in-game economy that's going to allow for really smooth, basically off the blockchain transactions, right? And so the thing is, we're not actually generating when you're in the game. You're not directly earning dark token, right? So you're earning DFCC, which will be exchanged for dark token later. So first of all, again, talking about the kind of robust and solid ecosystem of the Dark Frontiers game and the dark token and everything, we believe it is a well balanced system. It is not. It is purposefully every time you do it, you earn something in game. You're not just automatically generating it. So it's not going to be this hyperinflationary currency. Because it's not being constantly printed, but also, or at least at a high rate. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, the burn rate is going to be actually higher. The burn rate and the rate the tokens are being returned to the treasury should match or even be higher than the distribution rate or the generation rate, right? And then actually we're later this year, maybe early next year, there's going to be an actual introduction of dark token burning mechanism as well. So that'll help to fight any sort of inflation as far as that goes as well. So you're right, the value of the token is important. We don't want this game to be all of a sudden out of people's hands and so expensive to play that no one can, that we remove access to other players or whatever. So that token is important. The value of the token is very important. So and then we also want to make sure it holds its value and not, you're right, get overinflated by any means. So definitely check out those two articles for sure. And yeah, again, you're not going to be able to generate the token in game. You'll be you're getting DFCC, and that burn/return the token rate should at least match the token generation. So let's see. Pyramid PKR. How does the targeting system work? Locking on, crosshairs, etc. So basically, Dark Frontiers are going to be a computer game, right? So on PC and Mac, and so we're going to see. Short answer is we're going to see free crosshairs, right? So no locking, no auto lock or anything like that. But you're going to basically have the open crosshairs used on your shooter on your heads-up display. Mostly is going to depend on your combat skill, right? There's going to be the mechanics of the actual gameplay of aiming, of leading, of headshots, that kind of thing. That's going to be implemented into the game, as well as your skill, right? But your damage output is going to be related to your skill tree, right? How you upgrade your skill tree, that kind of thing. So those are kind of the basics about aiming and fighting mechanisms are going to play out. So great great question, Pyramid PKR. Udara Mudani. Yeah, that sounds right. It's pretty good. On most gameplay announcements, I see this game played as a team. When P2E is live, how do you determine the performance of each player to reflect the input he had in winning the game to determine the distribution of the final earnings he deserves from the total earnings of the team? Great question. Talking a little bit about loot, about experience points, that kind of thing. How do you determine when you're playing from a player in perspective, but a multiplayer, who gets what? How does it split up? So the short answer is that it's going to be based on damage, right? Damage dealt, more damage dealt equal more experience, equal more loot, more share of the loot, right? this is in contrast a little bit to some games where you have to, you worry about your creep score, you worry about last hitting, that kind of thing. This game is going to be a little more just like direct damage dealt, which is cool because it encourages actually more teamwork there, instead of some people waiting around trying to get the last shot in, right, the last hit, the final blow kind of thing. So we kind of like this idea of do more damage, get more reward, right? And so going to have that competition, the competitive side to it, even though it's cooperative. But at the same time, I think still encourages and doesn't, kind of it still reinforces kind of that cooperative mode. So excited for that. There'll be more for sure integrations with co-op mode as we go along, more iterations of that gameplay. So be on lookout for that. But I think the initial gameplay is going to be really really cool for that co-op experience. Octavellion, could you please list the software you use for the game development, at least ones you remember for the moment, and how the whole team is structured? Well, basically, we use the same programs that a lot of other development studios are going to use, right? We have an in-house game development studio, and then we're really proud of that. I think if we keep cranking out games that are as high quality as Dark Frontiers, GameStar is going to do very well in the future, I think. So basically, yeah, it's going to look like Unity, of course, Illustrator, Photoshop, all the art, and it's full stack web development. So Unity's going to be a big one. After Effects, and so we have three kind of main compartments, right? They're departments. We have the engineers dealing with the coding side of things, the Unity and the web stack development, of course. We have the art department, so they're going to be doing with in-game, the concept art, the in-game assets, the in-game, just the overall art and structure of it. And then the overall game design department, right? It's going to deal with the lore, the quests, the skills, building out the worlds, and building out the game itself, right? So those are kind of the three departments that work in unison to create the beautiful Dark Frontiers universe. Great question, though. ChanDJV1, could you briefly describe the milestones Dark Frontiers has achieved and about your upcoming plans? Excuse me, what are the vision and goals in your project that you would like to achieve in 2022 and beyond? So first of all, invite you to go check out our roadmap on our website for a little more, details of what's going on in the future. 2022 is definitely going to be a big year. We have the influencer stream at the end, planned for the end of this month, hopefully. We have the closed alpha. Well, sorry, before that, I guess we're going to have a NFT holder celebration, right? So a little, basically allowing NFT holders to actually get a chance to play some of the game. That's going to be exciting coming later this year, and then closed alpha release, right, for the end of this year as well. So big development throughout the end of this year. I think we'll also start seeing some more locations developing later this year into early next year, as well as kind of further building out kind of and releasing the overall game. And we should see the game fully up and running by next year, right? So we're really excited. We got some really big milestones coming down the pipeline for sure. But definitely continue to check out our blog posts in the future. We do have regular, more kind of in-depth development updates on what's going on behind the scenes. What's happening. What the team is specifically working on, so you can kind of get an idea of like this past one was released, and I think it was a lot of the sound effects, a lot of the kind of quality of life improvements and fixes, and a lot of little details that are kind of coming together to really make the game immersive and really feel really good overall, right? Let's see. Those are the big ones, right? Influencer stream, NFT gameplay, NFT holder gameplay, and then the closed alpha release, right? And then finally, guys, Mall Premiere. How much time does it take to develop a whole planet exploration area? So this is a hard question. I was talking to devs a little bit, and they were saying it's a little tricky to answer this succinctly, just because it can really vary, right? Final question, guys. Mall Premiere. How much time does it take to develop a whole planet exploration area? This will give us a hint of how good they are. So great question there. I was talking to the devs a little bit, and it's a little tricky one. It's a tricky to answer succinctly, basically, because let's give you a little layout of how it's structured, right? So on the moon, on Luna, there's going to be 5 distinct areas consisting of smaller parts called terrains, which are 450 by 450 meters. So all these little plots, basically all built up. So the Luna should have overall 50 terrains for so it's gonna be a ton. It's a big world. It's a big world to develop. The thing is, it's not so straightforward to say how much long it takes for each one to develop, because there's lots of different pipelines or that are happening kind of at once that to determine how it's going to develop. And once a world is built, sometimes you use assets on that location and bring them over, bring whatever, and kind of sometimes some copy and pasting, base materials, that kind of thing, and then editing them to fit what you want to do. So that this first one is probably going to take one of the more longer time periods, right? Because eventually you can kind of use what you built before, but kind of starting from scratch on this first one, probably is in my my guess is that was going to be one of the longer ones, right? Um, so initially you have kind of two separate development pipelines, right? So you have the environmental art, so you have the concepts, the modeling, the texturing, that kind of thing. But then you also have the level design, so that's going to look like the mapping out the NPCs, the quest built into that, and the lore that goes along with it. So building a world kind of has these two different things, right? The art aspect of things and the actual gameplay design, right? So the development of this has these two different pipelines that kind of going simultaneously, but then sometimes a lot of work needs to be done on one and the other, and sometimes you end up doing. They were saying how you do bulk tasks sometimes all at once. Uh, in short, it takes a long time, right? It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, and the thing is we're so focused on building, the devs are so focused on really putting their heads down and developing something that's really truly beautiful and something that you guys are going to be excited to play and have a lot of fun playing, because of the actual, it's an art form, right? They're really taking it seriously. We really take it seriously as this is a product we want to be proud of and present to everybody, to the public. That's going to be, wow, this is an amazing. I see why, it took a long time to develop and to put out, and we see the work and the beauty behind it, right? So many people are rushing into just putting out any sort of player and blockchain game just because it's hype and it's exciting, with no really true value behind it. And so this, we're really planning to be a valuable and exciting and very fun, a beautiful experience. It's something that you can really enjoy and play for years to come. So other pipelines that include level design, world building, various iterations on those kind of things too. So sometimes you have to kind of lay it all out and then come back and kind of put in more details. Like I said, right now a lot of development, the core stuff is done, but now they're going back and making it, working on the improvements, quality of life, uh, updating, texturing, that kind of thing, and trying to improve it as much as possible to really get that like finalized crispness to the whole thing, right? Um, so yeah, so you're going to see a lot of that in the influencer stream, hopefully later this month. And yeah, there are going to be actually 12 total terrains that are playable, three different zones, and quest content for around 4 to 5 hours of playtime. So it's going to be a solid gameplay coming out relatively soon. So anyways, guys, that's all I got right now for the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you have more questions, please drop them on Twitter, drop them on this video, wherever this video is posted, probably gonna be on YouTube, maybe some on Twitter, that kind of thing. So drop questions down below. We want to hear more, and we'll try to answer your questions and try to get you some more details so we can all get excited for for Dark Frontiers, build that anticipation and have a lot of fun kind of learning behind the scenes. I know you guys, I love to see behind the scenes and see what's going on, what the developers are up to, what the teams are up to. And so, we're here with you kind of learning and exploring the Dark Frontiers universe before it's even out. So, again, drop questions down below, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you soon, and have a great day or night. Peace.